You've heard about this idea of making money while you sleep, and it sounds pretty great. So now you're thinking, why bother with a whole big live launch when you can just make your paid offer always available for people to purchase anytime they want, including while you're sleeping? It's a question I get asked a lot as my clients get ready to put out their first or next paid offer. With everything that goes into a successful launch, it can seem like it would just be way easier to skip it all and go evergreen. So how about we create a pros and cons list together for both options so you can make the best decision for you and your business? As someone who has had many evergreen courses, ebooks, and workshops, and also done a lot of live launches, I've got a lot to say about it all. So let's dive in. Hey there, I'm Shawn Miner, and this is Unstuck Entrepreneur. I'm a former nutritionist who turned a struggling, stressful nutrition practice into a thriving, freedom-filled online business where I work from home in my sweatpants while reaching and helping thousands of people all at the same time. Now I'm obsessed with showing other heart-centered coaches, practitioners, and solopreneurs how to build a business and life they love. Consider this podcast your safe space to learn both the inner work and practical strategies required to build the impactful, profitable business of your dreams. No hustle, grind, or long hours required. That's right, hustle culture, not welcome here. Let's get into today's session. Hey there, friends. Welcome back to the Unstuck Entrepreneur podcast. So happy to have you here, checking out the show, checking out this episode. It's a big episode. It's a loaded episode and a topic that I get asked about a lot, and I have a lot to say about this. I've been wanting to do this episode for a really, really long time, and it just didn't ever seem like the right time because we had a lot to discuss before we got to this point. And that's why I did this whole series that we're currently in the middle of, all about launches, so that we could get to this point where I could talk about the difference between a live launch and an evergreen situation in your business and what the pros and cons are of each and how to decide which one is best for you. We had a lot to get to up until this point. So if you haven't tuned into the other episodes about launching prior to this, so it would be the 2 episodes before this one, it's really important to kind of bring you up to speed to the point where you will understand everything that we're going to talk about today. So this is episode 3 of this series all about launching in your business. Go back, listen to episode 152, I believe, 153, and now this is 154, and you will be fully involved in this whole series we're doing. So super excited for today's episode because, as I've mentioned several times already, we are going to talk all about the difference between doing this live launch versus having your paid offers be always available, kind of in this evergreen mode, so you can decide which one is best for you. I will also be sharing some examples of how all of this works in my business, both the evergreen aspect and doing these live launches, and kind of how I decide what is going to happen when. And what I really want to come out of this for you is for you to be able to make the best decision for you and your business, not based on emotion or thought or ego, but from this more strategic business perspective. And it's not very often that I say that, but I think what is happening here for a lot of people is this. I honestly think a lot of the decision that comes between evergreen and live launching is based around an ego type thought and emotion, maybe a fear or an overthinking type situation, or just something where I think the decision is being made in the ego capacity versus really thinking about what's right for you and your business and your life and all that stuff. So that's what I want you to understand by the time we get done with this episode is what really is right for you, where your business is at right now, what your goals are, what your needs are, and what you really think you can make happen. That is the goal. All right, so let's get started here. First, an explanation of each. I'll make this quick. We talked about the live launch a lot 2 episodes ago, episode 152, I believe, where I shared behind the scenes of my most recent launch. It was a live launch, but a part of that was really showing all of the ingredients involved and the processes and the flow involved of a live launch. So go back and listen to that. But essentially, what I am referring to when I say live launch is a specific launch period where there is enrollment that is open and then enrollment closes. It's usually kicked off by a special free event like a webinar, a workshop, a masterclass, a challenge, a video series, an audio series, something like that where there's this extra special, usually free, doesn't have to be, but usually free event. There are also usually some special bonuses involved or special pricing during that time. Something, again, where it's building this excitement around the enrollment period that is opened on a specific day and closes on a specific day. So yes, exciting. It's also a great time that builds a lot of awareness and a lot of momentum around your paid offer because you're talking about it a lot, you're promoting it. There's just lots of energy behind it during that period of time. So a live launch is typically used for like your signature program where a group of people are going through a process together. It can be used for a course, a membership, a live or pre-recorded workshop, and even getting one-on-one clients, which I really, truly do not think enough people are using a live launch strategy to fill up their calendars with one-on-one clients. And if that's what you want to do, if that's where you see your business going or being at right now, taking these one-on-one clients, I personally, if I were to go back to that time in my business when I was trying to get clients, if I had to do it all over again, I would definitely go the live launch route and bring in a handful of clients all at one time. That's personally what I would do. You can use this strategy for your one-on-one client work. And so go back again. If you didn't listen to episode 152, I hope this is the right number because I keep saying it. It might not be that, but the episode that is titled Behind the Scenes of My Most Recent Launch, go back and listen to that and then listen to it with the idea of one-on-one client work in mind, and you will see how that can work for that too. Now, evergreen. When you hear that something is evergreen, it means that that paid offer is always available. People can sign up at any time. Like they can go on your website, they can click the link in bio or whatever it is and purchase and get started with whatever that thing is. This is great for obviously DIY courses, pre-recorded workshops. Like obviously you can't do this for live workshops because you're not going to be live 24/7. So they can't, buy it whenever they want and be live with you. For self-paced memberships, so if it's just a membership thing where they can get access at any time and just pick up and do their own thing within that membership, cool. And also possibly your signature program could be evergreen. And we'll talk about that coming up. Having a paid offer be evergreen is big talk in the online business space. Kind of always has been, but I feel like it's gotten even more and more so lately. Everyone wants an evergreen product because you are told that you can make money while you sleep. You can have a completely hands-off business and be traveling around the world and doing all these other things and just checking your bank account. Your bank account is growing without you really having to do anything. And to some degree, that is true. that does come with having an evergreen situation, having something that is always available for purchase. You can make money while you sleep. It has happened to me a lot over the past 10 years. I guess I've had an evergreen product for probably 8 years, and it really truly is great. You do make money while you sleep. But I think the way that this is presented in the online business space, it makes it sound like it's super easy. There's very little time involved, like non-time consuming at all. And basically like your business runs without you. And all you have to do is create this thing, sit back, relax, go about your life and watch it blow up and sell like crazy. And all of a sudden you're making $1 million. And that is not how it works, my friends. So let's clear that up right away. Now, like I said, there is some truth to the like making money while you sleep. Maybe it is less time consuming. Maybe it is a little more hands off in some regards. But the thing that isn't really talked about a lot when people are trying to kind of quote unquote sell you on this evergreen situation in your business is that you still have to sell the thing. Whatever it is that you have available 24/7, 365, you still have to sell it. And because that excitement and awareness and like that whole thing, the whole vibe that happens during a live launch isn't really there, it actually requires a whole different kind of strategy, something special, like this different energy to go into making that sale. And we're going to talk more about this too in a second, but I just wanted to put that out there now for all of you that are going into this thinking, why would I ever do this live launch thing that she talked about and sounds like so much work and it sounds so hard when I could just sit back and make money every day. I just want to put it out there now. Again, we'll talk about it. I have more to say on this topic. I just want to put it out there now that what it seems like and what I think a lot of people in the online business space are making it appear to be isn't the reality for most people. Now, yes, there are those outliers, probably those people that you're looking at that it's so easy for them to make sales while they're doing all these things and seems like they're barely working, but they're probably not showing you what they're really doing or what their team is doing behind the scenes. And they're probably not showing you what it looked like the first few years in their business. This is probably not what they started out being able to do with their evergreen product. Okay. Now, let's get into the pros and cons list for each. I tried to be as thorough as possible, but like every episode, I'm probably missing some things, but let's go through what I was able to come up with as a start. So first, starting with the pros of a live launch. So having that doors open to doors close enrollment period, where you are really putting in some energy, some time, some work, all the things into that doors open, doors closed period. First pro, you have the ability to make a large chunk of income in like a week or two. Whatever your live launch period is, you will get a quick cash injection during that time. So that's really great, especially if you are in a situation where you need some money. What better way than to do a live launch and have it all come in a week or two, even a couple days if you have a shorter launch period, whatever that is. So you have that ability. Of course, yes, it depends on how you set everything up. It depends on your marketing strategy, your sales strategy, what you're doing in that period of time to get to that point where you can make the income that you desire. But that is a strategic thing. That is something that you learn over time and over launches. And of course, I'm here to help you set all of that up, which is what we do in the Signature Program Bundle. Next, when you are providing value and connection during that special event, which is what kicks off your live launch typically, you also have this excitement and hype during that launch because you're spending extra energy and time really promoting what you have to offer. You have these extra special bonuses or pricing. You have this limited time offer, like they can sign up during this week and then after that it's gone. It makes it an easy sell. So if you are someone who has a hard time, maybe has those blocks that we were talking about in the last episode around selling, this all makes it easier. Having that special event, having that specific time period, the energy, the excitement, the bonuses, the special pricing, whatever it is, all of that sets you up to not really have to do that much in terms of selling, besides just making it available, showing up, having that excitement, that enthusiasm, that confidence about your offer, and just being available. So it is a really easy sell when you have created that foundation and that environment around your live launch period. And because of that environment and excitement and energy and all that stuff, you will make more sales. You will make more sales during a live launch than just by having it be evergreen and always available. You will make more sales. Let me really drive that home because that's important. You will make more sales. And everybody that does evergreen versus live knows that. It's a very common thing to know. And it makes a ton of sense when we just talked about everything that, all the hype involved in a live launch that isn't really there when it's always available. And all of your sales and marketing energy is concentrated into a few weeks. So yes, maybe there is, as you might see it, it may look like there is more quote unquote work involved, but it's all concentrated into a few weeks and then you get a break. So if you have the lifestyle that needs breaks or the personality that needs a break, then a live launch situation is really great for that. Like if you need or want to take summers off to be there with your kids or to go travel, if you need and or want to take the holidays off to, again, be with your family, travel, just take some time off to regroup during the holidays, you have that ability when you are doing these specific periods of time where you are live launching and then there's a break, live launching and then there's a break. So it may seem like potentially there is more work, but it's just concentrated. It's just focused work, break, focused work, break. So that may or may not be something that works for you. And then lastly, once you create the content for that one live launch, like maybe you do a workshop or you do a challenge or something like that, once you create that and all the kind of marketing tools that go along with that, it's done. You can reuse it for future launches. So the workload gets less and less and less every time you launch. Yes, you will make tweaks. Maybe there was an email that didn't get opened, and so you change a few things about that email, or maybe you want to add or take away some slides for your workshop or something like that. But the vast majority of the work is done once you do one launch. You just keep repeating that launch and getting better and better and better at that, which is really great. So much of the work is on the front end, and then you can kind of coast and just have those periods where, yes, there is more excitement, more energy. You're showing up more for your paid offer and your special event, and then you get a break. Really nice. All right, let's talk about the cons now of doing a live launch. I think that the biggest one that I personally don't see as a con, but from what I get from my clients, is that you're live. It's not something that you can pre-record and, edit and then put out and have the same vibe, have the same energy, have the same excitement around. Typically for a live launch, you're going to have to be live in some capacity. Even if you're doing a challenge and it's like a 5-day challenge with 5 emails that go out one a day, you're still probably going to have to show up live somewhere in like a Facebook group or on Instagram or something like that, because that's part of building that excitement, creating that energy, and showing up during that period of time for your business in a different capacity than you do every other time of the year. So yeah, you have to be live. You have to show your face. You have to be okay with stumbling over your words, making mistakes, and just being you. And that is what will be the driver of your sales. The energy that you put into showing up live for people and just being yourself. People don't want to buy something or get the help they need from a robot. They want to see you. They want to know that you guys have a connection, that you're good working together, and not everyone will be. That's okay. So being able and willing and excited to show up live is part of having a live launch. And that's just honestly a mindset thing that you'll have to work through. Again, do it. Just commit to doing it, even though it's uncomfortable and scary and all the things. And after you get one, you'll realize it's actually quite fun. And then you can do it again and again and again. And it just gets easier and easier every time. Another con, I would say, is that you can feel a little pressure to get everything done in time, like time pressure, because you've got to set a date for your live launch and let people know so they have time to learn about it and to register and enroll and get excited for that special event and all that stuff. So you have to set a date in advance and you have to stick with that date. Now, I, again, think this is not a con because a lot of times we need that date. We need to share it. We need to talk about it well in advance, put it in our calendar and set it in stone and get other people to know about it for us to actually do the thing. Because it's real easy, as we all know, to keep pushing things back and back and back and back when you don't have that like set in stone, this thing is happening, I just told someone else kind of motivation. So again, it is something to consider. You may feel like, and that's why I shared the episode I did about behind the scenes of my launch. You may feel like there's a lot to do in a short period of time, but if you take what I shared with you and really plan it out in the way that I showed you, then you will have plenty of time and you don't have to worry about that time crunch when it comes close. You will have everything set, your schedule set, you will know what you're working on week by week, and it won't feel like so much pressure. But it still is possible that it will come down to the wire and you'll be, writing emails and creating sales pages and slides and all that stuff towards the end. That's okay. It just means you're working on your business. You're doing the thing. You are stepping outside of your comfort zone. Cool. Love it. But be prepared for that. So that goes into my last con, which is that you need to plan ahead. If you want to have a live launch that is a success, planning ahead is going to be key. Knowing your date, I would say at minimum a month out, is going to be very, very helpful. So last minute stuff is going to be a challenge. So at least a month out, preferably I would say even up to 3 months out, maybe even a year out, depending on how you like to plan things, when your launches will be. So just to wrap up the live launch info, I want to share when it would be best to use a live launch. First of all, they are great, I would say essential for a group program type situation where the group is going through the material together. So They all start on a specific day or in a specific week. They go through the weeks or the modules or the steps together. There's this forum or community where they're kind of sharing what they're up to and challenges and stuff, doing all that together. There are calls with you, coaching calls, where you're maybe adding something to the modules or what they're going through that week, or you're even just answering questions from that week or that module, whatever it is. But obviously, if it's cohort based, then you want to do a live launch for that. You can't have people just signing up at random if you want everyone to start and go through the process together. So that is where most signature programs are going to need a live launch. And this would also work for like a membership or a course or anything like that, where you do kind of want to build that excitement and have people start in a group together. Also, like I mentioned earlier, it's great for getting several new one-on-one clients at once, especially if you have like a 3-month package or a 6-month package to offer your clients. And it's just a really good way to, again, build that hype, build that awareness, let people know they need to work with you, what will go into that process and all that stuff. It's kind of nice to do that in a concentrated format instead of just always being like, hey, I'm taking new clients. Hey, I'm taking new clients. It really helps to do that all at once. So that's an option too for these live launches. And again, if you prefer periods of work with periods of rest and downtime in your business, live launches are great. And then I would say, lastly, anytime you have a brand new paid offer, like you've never talked about it before, people don't know about this, you're just now putting it out into the world, do a live launch to create excitement and awareness. It is very hard to launch something brand new out into the world just by saying, hey, this thing's available, go get it. That's like super challenging to create the excitement and awareness that you need around that when most people don't see your post. A lot of people potentially don't read your emails, or not every email. So doing it in this concentrated format where you're kicking it off with this special event, it's just a big deal. I mean, think about it. Anytime someone opens a restaurant or there's a new movie or something, there's a premiere, right? Like there's a big event, there's a red carpet thing. That is what we need to do for every single thing we launch in our business too. There's a reason why all new things that come out into this world have a launch around it. Excitement and awareness. So very hard to put out a paid offer that is brand new and get the hype around it that you need by going straight to Evergreen. Speaking of Evergreen, let's chat about that. The pros of having a paid offer, something for sale all the time, is that you have the potential to make money 24/7, 365, which is obviously super cool, very enticing, very intriguing. We all want that. And along with that comes the potential to also have steady revenue coming in. Especially if you get down the road and you start being able to predict how many people buy this thing per week, per month, per year, then you have more predictability in your business. And just as a note, in both of those cases, I say the potential to make money 24/7, 365, and potential for steady revenue. Does this mean that it's 100% proven this is definitely going to happen the second you put something out evergreen? Absolutely not. It takes time, work, attention, energy, all of the things. Next up, when you are evergreen, you will likely, if it's for a course or a membership or a program, it still will likely have a special event attached to it. It's just that also is automated and always available, always going, which means it is pre-recorded. And for a lot of people, that sounds very, again, enticing, intriguing, amazing. I can do this thing. I don't have to be live. I don't have to be in front of an audience. I can edit it all to be exactly what I want and then put it out and have people consume it. So that is a pro. And there's also tons of other automations going on within an evergreen situation to have someone go from, being aware of this special event all the way to purchasing. All of it's basically automated, which means, yes, it is more hands-off. The actual process can be hands-off. Now, even in a live launch, most things are also automated. So again, it is also hands-off, but more concentrated in the energy for that specific time. Now, the cons of having something be evergreen, and this is something I don't think a lot of people truly understand and really get almost until you do it. But let me save you doing this by telling you how it really is. You are constantly in marketing mode. You have to be either selling your offer or at least getting people interested in your special event, if that is something you have, basically every day. Like, you do not have a break. You do not have time off. I mean, yeah, sure, you can take it, but then your chances of selling anything are zero. So you are constantly having that in the back of your mind. Like, did I promoted enough today? Did I do well? How many people signed up for my special event? Why didn't anyone buy today? Why didn't anyone sign up for my special event today? It can get to be real madness in your brain. And then also kind of affects your energy around that as well, like your vibration around that as well. So there is that constant pressure almost to sell. It's always going on. It's always in the back of your mind, and you're always kind of looking at the analytics and the stats and trying to figure it out and wondering how else you can say it. And that means you have to post on social media that much more, and make sure you're always talking about it in your emails and on your other platforms and all that stuff. Like, it's always running in the back of your mind. And so this comes back to what I was talking about before, where it does look like in a lot of cases where people have these very evergreen hands-off businesses, that they're not doing anything and they're making sales every day without doing much. But again, what are they promoting their stuff every single day? Probably. Or is their team doing something behind the scenes every day to promote? Or, what is their content creation schedule like? Is that something that you can do and are willing to do every day? Or are they spending a bunch of money on ads? Like, that's the other way around it, which is great. But again, it's time or it's money. Which one are you going to put in every day versus doing that in a concentrated period of time and then being able to take a break and rest and get ready for the next round? So that is, I think, for me, the biggest con. And again, it's not something that you truly understand until you go through it and you're like, geez, I got to post again about this thing and again and again and again. And it can feel a little daunting. Another big con is that you're going to get fewer conversions. You are going to get fewer conversions because, going back to that live launch, that excitement, that whole environment isn't being created when it's always available and it's all automated. Someone watching your pre-recorded webinar or workshop, they're not going to have it's just not going to be the same experience as if you were live and you were right there with them, answering their questions, chatting with them, just being present in that same space. It's not going to be the same. So no matter what, the conversion rate is different. As an example, I have been running a pre-recorded workshop and an evergreen situation for the Signature Program Bundle for the past 3 months. I also just did a live launch for the same offer. I made the same number of sales in 3 days with a live launch that I made in 3 months with an evergreen launch. And in both of those cases, my conversion rates were way higher than average for an online business. And that still is what the results were. So do you want to make the sales in 3 months, or do you want to make them in 3 days? And obviously this flows right into my next con, which that is going to take longer to reach your income goals, which is again something for you to consider when it comes to what is best for you and your business and your life and your financial situation. Is it okay for it to take 3, 10, 20 times longer to reach your income goals? So something to really look at in your business. When to use an evergreen flow. If you have a low ticket offer like an ebook or a recorded workshop, when I say low ticket, I would say anything under like $100. That would be something that could be evergreen and could potentially do well for you. It's obviously, if it's something that's under $100, is probably not going to be the primary driver of your income in your business. So it's kind of almost like this extra cherry on top type situation that is just kind of always available and is a next step, or probably actually a first step to someone getting involved financially with your business after they have consumed some of your free content. And if it's something like an ebook or a recorded workshop, then that is also probably not going to have that free special event type situation. Again, it's like they have consumed your free content, they've gotten your emails, their freebies, they listen to your podcast, all that stuff. And then the next step is to buy this low ticket offer from you to get extra help in whatever area. And from there, then they will be a part of your next live launch and they will get more and more and more involved with you as you go. So it's a really good starting point for people. The next time when you could potentially use an evergreen situation for your business is if you have a big, highly engaged audience and or lots of evergreen content that gets high engagement. Again, if we go back to those people who really push the idea of having your business be on Evergreen and your paid offers be on Evergreen, if you go back and look at those people, if you even know any, maybe you don't, that's cool too. But from what I have seen over the past few years when this has really started to become bigger and bigger, guess what? Those people all have gigantic audiences and they are on all the platforms, the Instagram, the TikTok, the YouTube, the podcast, the this, the that, like whatever it is, they have really big, highly engaged audiences. And their only thing that they do is create content, like content all day, every day. And part of that content all day, every day is promoting their evergreen situation. As I talked about, like something that's always going on in your business every day. And so if that is something that you want to do, first of all, and have that be something going on, and you also have the audience for it, if you know that if you talk about it every day, someone new is going to see it that's never seen it before, then that is a situation where it could work and could work really well for you. But again, highly engaged, large audience, or lots of evergreen content that gets high engagement. So that would mean something like if you do have a podcast that is, has a really great, solid audience, or a blog that gets a lot of readers, like Google, Pinterest, whatever, it's getting traffic to your blog post. That is an option too. I'll share how this works for me in my business in a second. But having that evergreen content works well because you may get a podcast listener that listens to an episode 2 years down the road. And as long as you are talking about something related to that evergreen offer, they may be interested. Same thing goes with a YouTube video or a blog post. Having that evergreen content is really super helpful if you have also the offer to go with it. Also, if you don't need to make money right away and can play that long game, then sure, go ahead with the evergreen situation, get that set up, and then really, really, really focus on creating the evergreen content that goes along with it, that drives people into that situation in your business. So again, I'm talking years. If you have that, if you don't need the income coming in right away and you want to just set that up over the long game for your business, then that's an option as well. But again, plan on it taking a few years to get that really set up. And lastly, if you're willing to pay a decent chunk of change for Facebook ads, then this is also something that could work for you in an evergreen capacity. Again, we've got to decide, do you want to spend the time and effort creating content all the time and talking about it all the time, or are you willing to spend the money to get the content and the traffic and get people in that way? And typically with an evergreen type situation, it depends on the price point of the offer and whether or not you have a special event connected to that offer. It is a higher cost per lead typically to run Facebook ads to like an evergreen webinar that's free that then goes into the paid offer. That is typically going to cost more. So you have to, again, be willing to put in the financial investment, knowing you will get a return on that investment, but being willing and able to do that. All right, so that's the pros and cons list that I was able to come up with. Now I want to share a little bit about my experience, and then I'm going to give you what I think is your best option. I have had, as I mentioned earlier, at least one evergreen offer going on in my business since I created my very first ebook back, I believe, in 2015. And it was called the 28-Day Real Food Jumpstart. It was $28. It was an ebook that I put together before Canva even existed. So it is very ugly. And what is so fascinating about that is I literally kicked off my evergreen passive income situation by making money in my sleep. The first sale I ever made of that $28 ebook was overnight while I was sleeping. And, looking at my bank account the next day and seeing that it had increased, not decreased, was like absolutely fascinating to me. Obviously, the first time that happens, you're hooked. It only takes one time for that passive income to come in before you are hooked forever. And so obviously, since then, I have had a workout program that is an ebook as well. I've had pre-recorded workshops. I've had DIY courses, all as evergreen opportunities. In fact, I think most of those, if not all of them, are still available to this day, and I make sales on them to this day. In fact, just this past couple weeks, I sold that workout program, which at this point, I think that was created in 2016. So obviously a long, long time ago. Still holds up. I still think it is an amazing program. It's specifically for people with autoimmune disease or other illnesses that compromise their energy levels at times. So it's a really niche workout program, which is great, and I love it. But I made a sale on that in the past couple of weeks. At this point, it's like $19, I think. So, a little, again, cherry on top kind of situation for my business. But I made that sale because I have one blog post that is specifically related to that ebook. And I talk about the ebook in that blog post, and then people buy it. The people that buy it come from either Pinterest. I do have a few pins on that blog post, or Google. And then they get onto my website, they get onto that blog post, they read it. If it's something they think they need, they buy it. So that is how I think Evergreen offers work really well, especially those lower priced options. And I regularly make sales on a past DIY course that I have because I have content that points directly to that course. And this is content that I have created over years in my business that gets traffic through Google, through Pinterest, people looking for and finding my past podcast episodes. Like for the DIY version of the Fat Burning Female Project, which is my past signature program that's now on Evergreen and is DIY, I have an entire podcast, 130 episodes of an entire podcast dedicated just to that program. And I talk about that program in a lot of those episodes, like directly talk about it and reference it because it's so closely tied with that content. And so people find my podcast, listen to these episodes, and I haven't recorded a new episode of that show since 2019. It went from 2017, I think, to 2019. So it's obviously been years since there's been any new content on there, but people still find those podcast episodes, listen to it, hear about the Fat Burning Female Project, go to my website, go to the sales page, and purchase it. So that is how I really think we can leverage the use of content, I guess evergreen content, that rolls into evergreen offers. And I think that is such an amazing thing to have going on in your business. Now, I obviously also do live launches for the programs that I'm currently running and supporting and, have my attention and my energy in my business. I usually do one live launch per quarter, so 4 times a year. I love doing them. I love planning them. I love having them. I think they're great. They are amazing. And I have done live launches for years, probably 5-6 years, ever since I created the Fat Burning Female Project for the first time. I've been doing live launches and I really love them. But I also have the signature program bundle set up on Evergreen as well, like I mentioned. And I decided to do this because it really is a program that doesn't need to be done in groups. It's more of a DIY course that also includes support. But people can start at any time and still come into those live calls I host and be a part of the community no matter what stage they're in. It's not something that everyone needs to go through together. And that kind of shows the ability for you to have a signature program that is on an evergreen situation. If there is that case where people don't have to start together and can still be a part of your support system and be a part of the community, and it won't throw anybody off and it won't take away from that experience, then that's a situation where you could have your signature program be evergreen, but still have the support of a signature program instead of it being just a DIY course. And this all leads me to answering the question, which one of these is better? My answer is a combo. I think you should do both. I am loving the combo. I think it really hits all the buckets when it comes to your business, both wanting that cash injection of your live launch, but also wanting a steady stream of income coming in throughout the year. It also is really great to have the hype and the energy and the excitement of a live launch. It helps people get to know what you're about and what you offer and gets people involved to a greater degree when you have a live launch. But then also having this situation where there is still help available for people who want to start on a smaller scale or start when they're ready or something like that. So you can do this in a few different ways. You can create a few different paid offers, one that is specifically something that can be put on Evergreen, and then one that is cohort-based or would be better with a live launch. And more specifically, there's going to be that one that's on Evergreen that is a lower price point. It is a starting point for people. It is something where, people can come to a blog post or listen to a podcast episode and get interested and get started on that whenever they're ready. So again, an ebook, a mini course, a workshop series, or something like that, where it's in the, under $100. And then you have that other thing, that next step that is a higher price point, has more connection with you, isn't DIY. Maybe there is a group situation, or it is working one-on-one with you, or it's part of your membership or something like that. So you can do that and have those two offers, and potentially more and more as you get further along in your business. But you can start there with that, those two different ones. Or you can have that same offer and have it be always available and do a live launch with it too, which is what I'm doing with the Signature Program Bundle. So someone who wants that help right away and wants to get started right away and hears about it and knows it's what they need and is ready and committed can buy it whenever and get started and still have that community support and be a part of my live calls. But then also having that live launch to help people make the decision, to get more excitement and awareness built, and just have that environment around it too is really great. And they really help feed into each other, which is also awesome. And you still have that ability to take a break because that live launch is coming up. That cash injection is coming up. And so if you want to take a week or 2 weeks or a month or 3 months off of talking about it and just have it be kind of running in the background for people that do find your long-term content, your evergreen content that directs them to that program, that's still running in the background, but you don't feel like you need to be on top of it every day. You can take a break if you need to. Now, keep in mind that this can only be done with a program or course or membership that doesn't need to be done in a group format. If it's really important to you and makes sense for what you're doing in your program to have people go through it as a group. And this is the case for a lot of signature programs, especially in the wellness and health space, because it just works so much better to have people go through it together as a group with you as their guide and support during that time. Then obviously having it always available isn't going to work. You want to do that live launch to get people in and start it at a specific time together. But then that would be the case where you could create like a mini version or maybe a workshop that ties into what you do in that signature program that then is your evergreen piece, your evergreen offer, always available, that really gets people primed and ready for that signature program the next time the doors open, but also is an opportunity for you to have a little bit of passive income and revenue coming in between launches. So I hope that makes sense. If you want to have a cohort-based program or course or membership, then your best bet is to create a different offer that is evergreen, a smaller offer, a baby offer. All right, I think I will stop there for this episode. As you can see, there's a lot to think about. It's not just all about what kind of sounds the best and maybe the least out of your comfort zone for you, but what really makes sense for you and your business and your bank account and what you need your business to do for you. Think more about that and create the best system for you. As a reminder, if you want your live launch to be basically all laid out and done for you, then that is available to you inside the Signature Program bundle. And spoiler alert, I'm currently working on a new module inside of that program that's going to be all about setting up that Evergreen funnel so that you can be doing both of those things for your program that is potentially not cohort based. And just to be totally honest, that does mean that the price of the bundle is going to increase when that is available, because the value of that program is going to be astronomically higher when I add that information and how you can set all of that up, and just making it so simple for you to do that. So if you are already inside the bundle, you are going to have access to that new module already. That is going to be part of your lifetime access, which means if you want to get in before that and before the price increase, you can do so now and get in on that when it becomes available next month. And you can learn all about that at shawnminer.com/bundle. All right, friends, I hope that gave you something to consider. I hope that really explained things from a very different perspective than you may have previously thought about live launches and evergreen launches. And I would love to know what you are planning to do and what your takeaway is from this episode. So head over to Instagram at UnstuckEntrepreneur. Find me over there. Send me a DM. Let's chat about it. And I'm happy to help you in any way I can with your next or first launch. All right, friends, until next time, take care. Hey friend, real quick before you go, don't forget to head over to my website and take the quiz to find out your solopreneur personality type. I've created a super fun, super informative 2-minute quiz that will show you which one of the 4 solopreneur personality types you fall into. Could it be the boss, the socialite, the visionary, or the supporter? Which one are you? Not only is it just fun to know more about yourself, especially as it relates to your business, but it's also really important information so you can be sure that you're building a business that works for you based on your energy, your personality, and your desires. Did you ever take those quizzes from the Cosmopolitan magazine back in the day? It's kind of like that, but with actual solid questions and real helpful tips and advice at the end. You can find the What's Your Solopreneur Personality Type quiz right on the homepage of my website at shawnminer.com. Head there now to take the quiz, then let me know over on Instagram at UnstuckEntrepreneur what your type is. I'll see you over there.